There are over 50 videos on YouTube either about me or responding to me. Is that because I'm doing something right or because I'm doing something wrong? Hey, Smart Christians, welcome back. In this little series that we're doing where we're looking at prominent people on YouTube or in ministry, either pastors or different content creators or whomever, we're looking at the good and the bad, the good preachers, the bad preachers, the good teachers, the bad teachers. And we're going to examine what's right with them and what's wrong with them. Well, it would only be fair if I did the same for myself. So, like I said, there are over 50 videos on YouTube, either critiquing me, some in support, but most are against, most are negative, and they range from a wide variety of different types of people. Now, as I look at the people who have done these videos, it kind of makes me feel pretty good to know who it is that's actually doing the videos. I would say the overwhelming majority of people that have made these critiques, I would not put them in the camp of strong doctrinally. That being said, there are some that do have pretty good doctrine, or at least can think their way through the scriptures, who critique me. And it would be wrong of me to say that any critique of me is invalid or that I shouldn't listen to them. That would be wrong. So to know what's right about me and what's wrong about me, you need to understand that I am a driver. That means that in the grand scheme of things, I tend to care more about the task than the people. I would much rather tell than ask. And so that puts my personality style in the camp of a driver. Doesn't mean that I don't care about people, but I'm still focused on the task. And so sometimes people's feelings or emotions, concerns, they could get overrun by what I'm trying to accomplish, which is the wrong thing or the wrong way to do things sometimes. And so I've got to be aware of that. When it comes to doctrine, it would be hard, difficult, and probably not even fair and balanced if I try to critique where I'm wrong, where I think I'm wrong. Because who in their right mind thinks that what they believe about doctrine is wrong? We think and we speak what we think is right. And so I may have some blind spots and I might not see it, which is why I try to open it up and let people critique me and even offer their differences, and let's have a discussion about it. So obviously I believe that I'm right. And someone might even say, Corey, you just want to be right. Well, sure. Who doesn't want to be right? Tell me the person who wants to be wrong. So obviously I want to be right. Now, I will say this, that in the past that I have recognized where I'm wrong on some things. As a matter of fact, some of the things that I talk about now as it relates to maybe tongues, I've changed. I thought that I was right at one point, but I've changed. I've done a complete 180. When it comes to the issue of eternal security and believing that you could lose your salvation, I once held to that. But 180 again, I've changed. So I think that I'm open to changing, but at the same time, what I do believe I hold to firmly. There have been some moving of the lines in terms of some of the gifts and this whole issue of cessationism. Could I be clearer? I could. I tend to hold to the position that I'm not totally sure about that, because even though there are people who I respect their understanding and their doctrinal beliefs, I don't see the same thing they see in 1 Corinthians 13, where they lean to gifts having ceased. Because I think the gift, particularly let's say tongues, is an actual known language, and that has not ceased. The ability to learn it and so forth. And if someone is learning that and the Holy Spirit is gifting them in that area to learn that, I don't see how that gift could have ceased, but I could be wrong. And so maybe someone would fault me for not knowing or not taking a definitive stance. I do that from time to time. I'm open. I think that's a good thing. And sometimes it's probably a bad thing, where I will say, I just don't know. And I'll let the other person, the people who are listening to me, I'll let them make up their mind. I kind of think that's fair. But when someone is maybe looking for definitive answers and I don't give that to them, well then, my apologies. Anyone who knows me will come away knowing one thing, that I am not lacking in confidence. Now, does that confidence, could it move over into the area of arrogance? Yeah, it has. Remember, I went to prison. There was a reason why I went to prison. That's the wrong about Corey. There was something about me, a character flaw about me, that caused me to go to prison. Well, what is that? Well, because of this confidence that I have in myself to kind of get things done, Trusting in yourself is never a good thing, and you're always going to be headed for a fall. The problem is when you fall, you won't know it's coming. As a matter of fact, you think that you can stop the fall, and that's what I did. I won't get into the whole issues that caused me to get there, but getting there was all because of my wrong. However, God made that into a right. How so? Well, what he did was he humbled me, he humiliated me, humbled me, and caused me to learn of him and to lean on him. More about that later. But suffice it to say, there was a reason why I went to prison, and there was a reason why I received a sentence longer than just about anybody for the exact same convicted crime. My attitude and my heart was just wrong. Did I want to do for the kingdom of God at that time? Yeah. But did I also want to do for me? Yeah, I did. And my way was the best way. And so sometimes that may even come out when I'm talking to someone, even now, about doctrine. Is it possible that I might run over someone, control the conversation, dictate how it's going? Yeah, that happens a lot. Sometimes because I want to make sure that we stay on track, but oftentimes because I want to make sure that my point is the point that comes out. Is that a wrong thing? Possibly it is. Is it a right thing? Sometimes it is. Should I be more sure of whether it's right or wrong? Yeah, I should. Do I believe I know the Bible? Yeah, I do. Is that good? Is that right? I think it's right. Can it also be a wrong, something bad? Could be. I'm constantly having to check myself to make sure that I'm open to being wrong. Now, it would be embarrassing to be on this camera and have to come back and say, guys, I was wrong. So for that reason, I try to make sure that I study as much as I can and get into the Word and look at all the different areas, the different nuances, to make sure that I don't say anything to anyone that I would have to come back later and apologize for and say, hey, I messed up. But I don't think I'm above doing that. Remember those 50 different videos that I spoke about that are about me? And again, the majority of those are negative. Well, one thing that I do take pride in, that I also boast about it, is that I'm always open for any of them to come on. I have no problem speaking about any doctrinal differences on camera. I've not shied away from that. Now, some people say that I'm a little too overbearing. Maybe. But I think it's right of me to be open to challenge, to let someone come and speak their mind, either in the comment section, the chat section, email me, or coming on live. I think that's the right thing. Now, is my approach when they do, is it the wrong way? I'll let you decide. So when I look at people who have made these, who have given these labels, he's a false teacher, he's a false prophet, he's a liar, he's a deceiver, he's demonic. Well, many of them have no doctrine or questionable doctrine themselves and are not willing to say, to confront me on camera to let's have this discussion. Many of them won't do that. And the one time that you get someone to do so, the person wants to hurl racial insults and to impugn my motives. Well, you know what? You'll say whatever suits you. You know why? I'll tell you why you'll say that. Because you have no clue about what you're saying. You think that if you talk the loudest, insult the loudest, then you'll make your point. But the only person that would ever even think to listen to what you just said,
You're the one talking.
You're right. You know why? Because I suffer no fools. That was a moment where I think wisdom won out, even though I got a little bit upset. Now, in hindsight, was I right to be upset? Sure. Was I right to kick him off? Without question. Have no doubt about it. The more I pray about it, the more I get further away from it and look back at it. That was the right thing to do. The wrong thing to do was to have him on in the first place. Because I have been so wrong on so many things in the past, I want to make sure that those things don't happen. For that reason, you don't see me compromising in some areas that I think I should not. I do not beg or ask for subscribers, for views, for money. Would I like more subscribers? Sure. Would I like more views? Absolutely. But I'll let God be the one who guides that. So let me tell you what I'm really convinced about what's right about me. I've told you about what's wrong. And I've got some baggage in my past that also demonstrates how wrong I've been in the past. But let me tell you what I'm convinced about what's right about me. Not my understanding of scriptures. Nope. It's not my passion for teaching the word, nor my passion for defending the word. It's not even my desire to see souls saved. All of those are important. The thing that I know that I'm truly right about, and from this, everything else flows from, I'm right about my trust in God, my faith in God. Paul said that, so that, as it is written, let the one who boasts, boast in the Lord. I boast about the Lord, what he's done for me, how he's carried me through. I am fully assured, without question, in my trust in him. Paul said in 2 Corinthians 12:9, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. For the sake of Christ, then, I am content with weakness, insults, hardships, persecution, and calamities. For when I am weak, then I am strong. And so when people hurl insults, when people make a video about me, my response is not to come back and to make another video about them. My response is not to down them or to grade them. My response is not to build myself up. My response is just to trust in the Lord. The one thing that he's done is he's taken my wrong and molded them by his own doing into a right. What I can say more than anything else, not my confidence in understanding the scriptures. I believe I do understand them, but what I'm most concerned about, what I'm most trusting in about, the one thing that I'm confident about is the fact that I trust him. So when I'm down, God, I'll trust you to get me up. When I'm lacking understanding, God, I trust you to give me understanding. When I need someone, Lord, I trust that you will send me someone. Whatever my need is, God, I trust that you will supply that. So whatever anyone has to say about me, about the channel, about the ministry, so be it. It's not for me to necessarily to defend myself. I'll let someone else or maybe God do that. But what I know I'm right about is the fact that I've placed all my trust in him. That's all I need.